Hello, everybody. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. Welcome to the Weekly Collective. Today, we're going to look at one major topic and then hopefully look at the tie. This week, actually, it was all of the members that help us break the tie. So we're looking at raising your frequency, which is good. And if we have time, we'll take a look at the runner-up, which was revealing masks, seeing people and places and things for what they truly are. Okay, with that being said, let's begin. If you're new to this, you picked a good time to join. The Weekly Collective gives you like the cornucopia of all these different readings. We'll look at channeled messages coming straight from Spirit. We'll also take a look at a 7-day forecast, check in on all the signs, and then we'll quickly go into, or I should say, we'll actually dig deeply into the special topic. Okay, so without further delay, let's go into channeled messages. I scribbled down some things as I was sitting here that I wanted to talk about. One of them was the energy of transactions, making sure that there's reciprocity. And this is very much like a Six of Pentacles energy that I'm receiving. So for many of you, there may have been a lot of giving, a lot of hard work, but not a lot of receiving. And in this moment in time, you're being given a chance to basically balance things out. Is everything balancing out? If it isn't, this is the time to speak up, to articulate and identify where those sort of needs aren't being met, and bring things into focus. So that's the first message. The other one was around being able to lean into the energy of change and knowing that it doesn't happen overnight. So I was shown a chrysalis for a butterfly, and that's basically the hard shell that they create while they go into the metamorphosis. And a metamorphosis requires release. I've done some research on this before because it's been, butterflies have been a totem, back when I used to focus more on totems. But what's cool about the whole chrysalis and metamorphosis energy is scientists have seen or kind of like run some tests where the memories from the caterpillar are carried through to the butterfly. So it's almost like the brain survives, but everything else changes. So what we can do in this moment in time is take what we need to, release the rest, and really take the knowledge with us. But it does require shifting and moving. So we're in a moment in time, in history, in our lives where we have to really lean into the necessary changes. And it gets a little messy because that's kind of what's happening in that soupy sort of energy of the chrysalis. But once you get through that soupy mess, something beautiful awaits. Be patient with yourself, be imaginative, and be flexible. That's what change requires. It doesn't happen lickety-split. But something worth the energy is on the horizon. So continue to stretch yourself. And one of the things that you want to focus on is that energy of reciprocity so you have more than enough to give in the days and weeks ahead. Okay? So with that being said, why don't we get into the 7-day forecast? A couple of quick notes, just housekeeping before we do that. If you enjoy what you see here, please like, subscribe, and show the love. It helps more than you know. You can also help us meet our target, and I'll look at that runner-up because it really was a dead heat. This is one of the times where being a member, being a Patreon supporter actually tipped us into the next, like the winning category. So thank you. That happens a few times a year. You can show some love and support through being a member, like I just said, super sticker, super chat, and thank you so much for all of that. Also, I put a post on the main post tab on YouTube just explaining why the monthlies have been delayed. The past couple of weeks, I've just been dealing with managing stress and taking care of myself. There's a familial sort of marker for high blood pressure, and it finally caught up with me despite healthy living. So I'm increasing exercise, really cleaning up my diet. It was already pretty clean. And I'm currently on some medication, dealing with meditation too, and just stress management. So I will be, I already started it with the Pisces one, but all of the videos this month are going to be a little bit tighter and shorter and easier to digest, which actually has been feedback for a couple of years. So it's good for you. It's good for me. And I will be doing that over the course of this week, releasing the new videos. But please don't type in the comments, where is it? Because that actually increases my stress. I'm getting to it. It was me prioritizing health. And I like to lead by example. And it's been a little challenging since October, actually, because I had the sinus thing. And then thank God, it was actually an Apple Watch notification and something like I could feel pressure and ringing in my ears, and I just went to urgent care, and I'm fine. I caught it early. Thank goodness there was some presenting sort of energy, because otherwise it's very much a silent killer. So take care of yourselves. Go to those doctor's appointments, and a general checkup can also clarify a lot of this, which I was already, like, it was on the books, but this kind of sped it up a little bit. So anyway, thank you everybody for your kindness and support. Let's get into the reading. I'm going to do the 7-day forecast now. We're going to look at the next 7 days to be practical and tactical. All right. Yeah, especially with my mom, because she passed away from a stroke. So clearly I'm taking it seriously. All will be well, but thank you for your patience. And again, it can hit anybody at any point in their life, so never sort of underestimate the importance of self-care. All right, before I pull any more cards, imagine that you are in a circle of light. Let's do this together. Welcome in your angels, spirit guides, ascended masters, and let's set the intention to bring through light, healing energy, and guidance for this next 7-day period. I'll pull the cards and I have another comment. One of the challenges with, I think, a lot of us content creators is we don't get to take days off. And it's a lot of work that I do here on YouTube. So every day there's a video, there's 12 monthlies, there's like 4 or 5 of the weeklies, and I haven't taken a day of vacation in 11 years. So this is just a sign that I have to manage my energy too. So part of the goal as I move forward will be more concentrated readings here. I've opened up my private reading schedule so that people can connect with me if they need more. And I just ask for patience to remember that this is like, with the exception of Dakota, who helps me on the weekends, it's one person that does everything that you see, from newsletters to dailies to weeklies to monthlies. And I just need to pace myself. And I don't think enough people that are self-employed do that. I don't think enough creators do that. And life is a precious little thing. So let's not forget a moment of that. All right. So we're going to begin here with the energy for today. Let me go ahead and get the right graphic up for this Sunday. So we have the Princess of Pentacles here, or the Page of Pentacles. I got another page when I was pulling the daily yesterday just to kind of see what the energy was, and it was around communication. So now we can take it a level further, and we're communicating value, because Page of Pentacles is looking at stuff. I mentioned looking at, are things adding up? Is there balance? If you need something, ask. If you want something, articulate that. If something's missing, it's time to figure out how to rectify that. It's a good time to take a look at your accounting and your billing and make sure you're getting what you need, that you're planning for the future, that you're not just kind of constantly running. The other thing here with the Page of Pentacles is to, if there's something that you want to create or do, this is about figuring out a way to pitch it or communicate it. So speaking of those independent sort of like entrepreneurs out there, this is a chance for you to sketch out the business plan. For people in a regular job, maybe having a conversation with your boss about growth and goals. And maybe for the rest of you, it could be planning for college or planning for retirement. Those sorts of things sometimes get swept under the rug, and we can't all do it. We're at a point in the economy sometimes where you can't, but at least know where you can push and where you're going to need a little bit of help, and this is a chance to figure all of that out. So also, just if everything's good, sitting down, and I love the way that this is actually kind of like a journal, thinking to yourself, I'm lucky that this is happening. I'm grateful for this. And even for me, like this health situation, I'm grateful for the warning sign. I'm grateful that I responded to medication. I'm grateful that I'm taking healthy measures. I'm grateful because things could have been different. So even something challenging can actually have a silver lining, and it's about finding the silver lining, right? Okay, let's take a look at Monday. For Monday, we have 7 of Pentacles. 7 of Pentacles is growth and recovery. And I kind of like what we see here with the pregnant belly, because it does represent the potential. And sometimes with the 7 of Pentacles, what comes through instead is frustration, because potential, like I said, doesn't happen overnight. It's not Jack and the Beanstalk. For those of you that are gardeners, you know that you usually plant a season ahead. I remember back when I lived on the East Coast where there was more pronounced seasons, that we would put all of the spring bulbs out, before the first frost, so that they would have a chance to grow and develop underneath the ground for the next year. And it would take, almost half a year for you to see the fruits of your labor. So thinking of it more in that respect, like I'm doing something now that could benefit me 3, 6, or even 9 months down the line. And if you look at this, he could either be looking at it lovingly or longingly. And when I look at his expression, it's a little bit more longingly. But look at all the growth, look at all the potential. And this is about celebrating where you're going, how far you've come, and not so much the difference between what you wanted to happen and what's actually happening. If you're on the heels of recovery, this is saying take care of yourself. She's loving herself, she's loving the baby, and this can also represent the metamorphosis of the new you, the rebirth. So it takes time to reinvent, to got to look in the mirror and love what's there today, in addition to what you want to see a few weeks from now or from a few months from now, okay? So all of the aforementioned. And Apollo just joined, and because my camera's not working today, I did an update and it's not working. We'll bring Apollo up for a little bit of love too. So spend some time with the people that you love. Thanks, buddy. Doing the things that you love. And know that that's all part of the picture, okay? Now let's take a look at what's coming through for Tuesday. We have the Star card, which is quite auspicious. So whatever challenges you might be experiencing today, it seems to be starting to ease. You can see a light at the end of the tunnel. The Star card represents a moment in time where people absolutely are more receptive to what it is that you're trying to say, trying to do, trying to communicate. This is also an opportunity for you to dig a little bit deeper into something that's aligned to your spiritual path. So intuitive development is opening up, your creativity is opening up, and then just generally speaking, whenever we get the star or the sun, charisma is coming through pretty loud and clear as well. The other thing with this is, much like the World card, this invites you to think in a more expansive or bigger way. Too often we are taught to diminish what's possible. And this is saying, if I do that, I'll never really know what's possible, right? So lean into the possibilities and allow yourself to really explore what if, what's next, and don't let other people stand in the way. Okay, at the center of the week here in Wednesday here, we have the Two of Wands, which is fantastic. This one often is accompanied by either High Priestess energy or Magician energy. And with this, we also see, this kind of is the Jack and the Beanstalk. There's a couple of options this week or opportunities. Monday was one of them, Wednesday is another, to plant a seed and watch it grow. So saying yes to something, putting something into writing, seeing the initial phases to something happening. Okay, so this is basically a card of dreaming, and I want to pull the traditional card while we're talking just to compare and contrast. If you never allow yourself to think, what if I tried this? Or what do I really want to do? Daydreaming. It doesn't have to just be like dreaming at night. Wishing, planning, and daydreaming allow us to imagine a world that's different than what we see. So one of the reasons, like growing up, I loved looking at science fiction or space movies or whatever, is because they imagined the present that we now have. Back in the original series of Star Trek, the tricorder and all their little devices, it's basically like our iPad, our iPhone. Dick Tracy had the watch long before a lot of other things. So now we actually have all of those things as reality. So you have to dream it, then do it. And that's actually what Wednesday's for. And you see him looking at the globe where he wants to be, looking at where he's at and kind of plotting out, how do I get to the dream? So give yourself permission to dream. Never think that you have reached the final pinnacle. Anything is possible. So creativity, planning, and then planting the seed once you've had a chance to do that. Sorry, I noticed a speck on my shirt there. So make some time for all of the aforementioned on Wednesday. Okay, taking a look at Thursday, we have two cards coming through. We have the Six of Pentacles, which is balance, and then we have the Knight of Cups. So This is the first message here, which is to pick and choose wisely. We see someone that has more than enough in that little coin purse, a lot of outstretched hands. And so this is where you decide, is this worth my time and effort? Is this person receptive? Is this environment supportive and nurturing? Give and take. If it's only give and it's never take, it's time to, basically even out the scales or move in a different direction. You can't say yes to everybody. You can't please everybody. And once you understand those two truths, we have the Knight of Cups coming through, showing you that you are worthy, you are capable, that you can make this happen. This is a chance for you to do something fun. Love, relationships, creativity, intuition, all coming through with this. If you need to meet with somebody for a date, for an important conversation, or for fun, Thursday's a great day for all of that. But you might have to say no to someone else or basically don't overcommit yourself. Make sure that whoever or whatever you're putting your time into, it makes you happy and there is mutual sort of reciprocity across the board, okay? Let's take a look at the end of the week here. On Friday, we have the Nine of Swords. That is a lot. It almost looks like she's doing a temper tantrum in this one. So with the Nine of Swords, it's never as bad as it looks or feels in the moment, but what's necessary is rest, something that I gave myself a chance to do over the past week, and stress management, and also putting things into perspective. So because I got that warning saying like I had a resting heartbeat that was too high, now I think to myself, is this worth it? Is this worth getting stressed out about? No, it's not. I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to take a walk. I'm going to come back and look at it from a fresh perspective. This person, place, or thing isn't as big as it feels. Typically, this card also indicates stress seeping into other parts of your life, your relationships, your rest, your sleep. If you are having trouble going to sleep or waking up, or you're feeling just spread too thin, find a way to exorcise what we see here, which exercise can be part of that. That's something that I'm doing about an hour a day now. But find a way to release tension. And I do believe that it's mind, body, and spirit. So meditation isn't enough. We actually have to work the body out too, and then do something else that's fun. You got to think of your mind, your body, and then your spirit, which is why it's mind, body, spirit. So have some fun, meditate, entertain yourself, exercise, and find a way to also kind of create something positive in your life. So stress management is really important. This would not be a day to have a difficult conversation. This would not be a day to add something to your schedule. This would be a day to release, replenish, and really practice good self-care. If there's someone around you that tends to bring that cloud that is part of the Nine of Swords into your life, distance is going to be important too. Okay? Moving on to, someone asked if it's Friday the 13th. Let me look at my calendar. It's a good question. Yes, it is Friday the 13th. So appropriate. Anyway, on Friday the 13th, avoid anything that creates that sense of stress. Thanks for calling that out. 13 isn't necessarily a negative number, but ironically, we got a stressful card for that day. Things look a lot better as we go into the weekend. Saturday, we have the Ace of Cups coming through, representing this feeling of the heart being healed. That's why sometimes just 24 to 48 hours can make all the difference. Before clicking send on something, before freaking out, you never know what tomorrow brings. Today's drama is tomorrow's whatever. So this is a perfect time to really prioritize people that you love, things that you love, doing things for yourself, not in a selfish way, but more in a nurturing way, and really opening up to the heart chakra. Follow what your heart wants to do. And it represents receptivity too. So if you needed to get something moved forward from a practical or tactical standpoint, this is a great day to get that done. But really, let's focus on the fun elements of the Ace of Cups, which typically is love or something that really gets you passionate or excited. Okay? So things are looking up as we go to Saturday. And on Sunday, we have a little bit of old karma coming through in the Moon card. Things that we may not want to see still rear their heads. things that we may thought were kind of like swept under the rug come back. We're still kind of like dealing with retrograde energy. So this is a chance to wrap up, to clean, to clear the slate a little bit. And the moon card is one of intuition and divine feminine empowerment. So if there's something that if you're kind of afraid of dipping your feet into something, don't be. This is a day to just trust yourself. Now, when it comes to truth and authenticity and accountability, it's a test this day. Lead with accountability. If someone else is hinting at trying to get out of something or maybe isn't telling the truth, stop it in the tracks and say, wait a second, this isn't what we talked about. What's going on? What's this really about? And, call it out. You can do it in a way that isn't necessarily accusatory, but also shows that you have boundaries and that you hold people to account, okay? Quickly looking at highlights and challenges for this week ahead. I think today is a highlight because when you see and understand your worth, when you know what you have to work with, it kind of helps you set priorities and goals, and you know what you've got. So an internal sort of checkpoint and audit is really, really important today, okay? I think that the biggest highlight would obviously be Tuesday because the star is arguably one of the best cards in the major arcana. Anything is possible. Another highlight being Saturday. So this Sunday, Tuesday, and this upcoming Saturday, all fantastic moments. I think the toughest day is probably Friday the 13th. The rest of the week is very manageable, okay? Let's move on to the next portion of this reading, which is going to be a quick check-in on all of the elements, seeing where we're at. And I know this will be helpful since I'm still getting all the sign-by-sign readings out. So let me pick a deck of cards for this, and we shall progress. Let's see. All right. For those of you that joined late because of the U.S.'s crazy daylight savings time or daylight saving time, this will be available on replay as always. Okay. Fire, earth, air, water. Mostly reversals, one upright. All right, let's start off with fire signs. Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Don't get lost in the shuffle. So we have the Hearth Fire, the Eight of Wands coming through. My favorite illustration for the Eight of Wands because it represents teamwork and basically community. The card was reversed. For some of you, you might be so focused on what's going on that you forget that there's people that you can lean on, people that want to lend support. You forget that there are resources around you. Slow down, enjoy the moment, don't get lost in the shuffle. This morning in Los Angeles, as I was walking my dog, I saw that we have the marathon going through, and it's like just a big, parade of people running. And it kind of reminds me of also the power of group energy. So if you need a little bit of help, gather some of the momentum, because there were people on the sidelines clapping, holding up signs. Everyone's supportive. That's kind of one of the cool things. I've never run a marathon, and I don't plan on doing that. But what I like about the sort of energy of it is you can do this. So this card is very much you can do this, but with the support and the help of others. You're not alone. And if you feel alone, find a community, find a pocket where that supportive applause and that supportive energy exists. Separate from that, separate from this illustration, what we see on this card is the ability for things to take flight. So this one is more the potential. Normally you see the wands in the air. This one, they're holding their bows and kind of planning up what the next phase is going to be. They're also celebrating just how far they've come. So prioritize people, family, groups, connections, breathe in the moment, strategize, very much connecting to the Two of Wands energy before you take your bow and arrow and go after the target, whatever that might be in your life, okay? Whatever goal you might be trying to make happen. Beautiful energy. And I like that for Sagittarius out there, too, that we have archers coming through. But everybody in the fire energy should enjoy that, particularly since we have like this beautiful hearth fire. I think you can get a lot done this week. Don't push yourself beyond your limits. Okay, moving forward from fire to the earth signs. We have the wanderer or the fool. I like the use of the word wanderer here because It reminds me of a line in The Lord of the Rings, not all those who wander are lost. Some of you might feel like you're lost. You might feel like you're ambling around a little bit, but you may just be stumbling towards a synchronicity. So take a moment, again, tuning into the Two of Wands, and ask yourself, what is it that my heart needs? Also, a little bit to the Ace of Cups energy here. What is it that my heart needs? What is it that I'm doing? Is there alignment in that? Get outside, explore. I know that I've pulled the Fool over the past week because I talked about the importance of sometimes just changing up the scenery, literally just walking to a different room or walking outside. So I'd like to re-echo that sentiment from one of the dailies. Sometimes you have to take a step back from something to get perspective, or you make progress that may require addressing something. So 2 or 3 steps forward, but a step backward to fix something. It's always worth taking that step back, even if it doesn't make sense in the here and the now. We see a rainbow on this Wanderer or Fool card, and that represents 2 things. One is something beautiful after a challenging period in your life, which is, I think, something we can all get behind. Things can only can only go up. You want to focus on the potential of tomorrow, et cetera, et cetera. But it also is saying, don't chase the rainbow, like be the rainbow. One of the interesting things that I love about doing all of these totems is I know that you can actually never physically get to the end of the rainbow, because rainbows are based on optics and the curvature of the earth and how light refracts and all of this. But anytime you keep moving, the end of the rainbow keeps going. So you may actually be at the end of someone else's rainbow and you don't even know it. So opportunity may be right here, right now, and you're chasing after something that you already have. So take a step back and see what's around you, but know that you don't have to constantly chase after someone else's goal or something that feels unattainable. It might already be here. It's closer than you think. Kind of like that song. They should have said, "Don't go chasing rainbows" instead of waterfalls from TLC. Because who chases a waterfall? But anyway, it's the poetry of music. I'm not going to argue with that. But a rainbow is a much easier thing to think about. The pot of gold is right here. It's not over there. It's not some sort of intangible future state. It's got to be coming from within. All right. That's Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Moving on to air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. We have 3 of Wands, and I love an active 3 of Wands. It's in the reverse position. So it's saying, don't limit where it can happen, when it can happen, who can bring this in. The 3rd wand is you. It's the bow and arrow again. So we have the 2 wands, dreaming, thinking, planning, and then the person holding the 3rd wand and basically being the change. In the traditional card, someone is a little bit more passive, waiting for ships to come in, waiting for opportunity to knock. And this one is more of knocking on someone else's door and saying, "Hey, have you thought about this?" Or "I'm interested in this." And that active energy is going to benefit you right now. There's a time and a place to be passive and to just let things come to you. I can't find the card right now. But I would say in this moment in time, you would be rewarded by stepping up, putting yourself out there, and not being afraid. Sometimes I think there's an internal judgment involved with this where we think, well, what will people think? Am I too outspoken? Et cetera, et cetera. And I would say, get out of your head. Here it is. I wanted to show it because it's one of the brightest cards here. I love the bright golden cards in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And there's the ships in the background. And the contrast between these 2 cards is fascinating. So this person is just saying, I'm going to reach out. And this person is waiting for opportunity to come to them. So you have a choice. You can have both. And also look at how they're looking in different directions. I like to remind people that this is like the 4 directions. You want to look actually beyond that. I would say left, right, center, up, down, all directions. There's possibility. And if you're only looking in one space, this guy, you may be missing something. He needs to look here, 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 here. He needs to be looking in all the directions. And then also part of this is identifying an opportunity that doesn't exist. Your wish, your dream will be fulfilled, but there is a portion of this that requires articulating, targeting, moving, being open to different things, and that will benefit you. keep your mind open, I would say. And thankfully, all of the air signs have a good capacity to do this, but just don't limit who, how, or when. That's the main takeaway for the air signs. All right, water. For water, we have the moon on the water, the moon card. We have a kind of Taurus energy coming through. There might be someone in your life, a Taurus figure, that could help you move through to something here. But much like I said earlier, moon energy comes through when we need to face our fears, when we need to focus on something that we have been pushing under the rug. It also is helping us access our dreams and our potential, but fear is a big piece of it, and honesty and integrity is another piece of it. So those things may come into play this week. But what I love about this, we can look at that bull or ox in the background and we can see it as being bullish on the future. What's potential? And in the traditional card, we see a path behind the moon. And so, like I said earlier, sometimes we get overly attached to the present and we don't focus enough on what tomorrow might bring. So I'd like everybody this week to dream a little bit, wish a little bit, focus a little bit more on future and potential rather than where you're at in this moment in time, because that can then sometimes anchor you or get you stuck. And here's the traditional card. So there's actually a path leading to enlightenment. The things distracting the moon, all the howling going on between the wolf and the dog, competition, people commenting that don't need to be commenting in your life about what you're doing, the fears, the unknown. But once you get past that and you avoid the distraction, that path is leading you to better days ahead, okay? Again, I keep hearing that song from like the old Queer Eye series, things can only get better, or all things just keep getting better. So we want to kind of have that thought in our head that I'm on a path to improvement, to growth, and to recovery. See if there's anything else. I like that we got water for you as well, and just focus on trusting your instincts, because this is an instinctive card. Both the dog and the wolf have survival instincts, and they serve them well, okay? All in all, a pretty good week. So as I said earlier, we had a tie today, and so I want to read the special topic exactly as it was posted, because I always want to get the verbiage right. So the one that won was Hummingbird, elevate your frequency. To me, the hummingbirds are sacred symbols. Whenever I'm having a bad day, or whenever I'm stressed out about something, when I see the hummingbird, it's, first of all, they're messengers from spirit, but they basically come through to soothe you and say, it's fine. Like, there will be a way through this. It's not going to be as complicated as you think. Things are going to be okay. So we're going to focus on how not to panic and how to transmute things a little bit and elevate the overall energy. I think we can all benefit from this right now. Okay, so let me go ahead and find a deck that makes sense for this wonderful totem. Might do this one. Okay. It's this one because it has some pastel colors in it, and I think it'll serve us well. All right, if you just joined, take a moment to tune in. See yourself again, maybe this time at the end of the rainbow. The spectrum of light surrounding you, keeping you safe, connecting you to source, and let's welcome in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. All right, we already are starting off with a great card. Let me just pull this up. Okay. All right, Hummingbird, come through and show us how to elevate things. Yes, this was the right choice. I think I read that, is it British Columbia isn't going to join in on the Daylight saving. I'm waiting for us to do the same. I'm so over it. Okay, let's begin with Catalyst energy for today. It's an interesting card and illustration. I don't think I've seen this one before. Grow wild. So, kind of reminds me of well, if I think of this in a gardening perspective, it's kind of like a wildflower, which is just something that we haven't touched, that has its own beauty, that goes where it needs to go. And this is a strange illustration. But sometimes to grow, we need to not have things tethering us, things controlling us, and you really just need to allow your imagination. That's kind of where I'm going to take this interpretation. Allow your imagination to run wild and to go where it needs to. The book Where the Wild Things Are reminds me of that as a kid, where they were just kind of like all this wild stuff. So dream big, think big, especially since we had star energy coming through this week, and just see where the universe kind of reacts to that. Because if you're too practical, if you're too safe, if you're too calculated, you never know where the growth can happen. I would much rather try and fail than to be safe and never know if something could have worked. I'm not afraid to take risks, and I think that that's a good thing in life. Calculated risks, particularly when it comes to career growth, personal development, relationships. Like, sometimes you just have to do something that scares you. The moon card that keeps coming through can represent fear. And sometimes when we're growing and doing the right thing, it can be scary. So don't be afraid to do that. You're actually growing. The wild part is just showing you that not everything is manageable, safe, control, calculated, etc. And that's just kind of the way that life works sometimes, right? All right. Something interesting coming through in the near future, but we're going to start off with the sun at the center. The sun is in the reverse position. Typically, we still see it here. Here we don't even have the baby. We have like the potential of the baby, the little zygote. So everything has to start somewhere, and we are so focused in this moment in time on immediacy that you have to give things time to gestate, to germinate, to that metamorphosis that I talked about that came through for the butterfly. It's a little messy when you're in that process of metamorphosis. And think of how much, on a cellular level, a baby changes from the moment of the egg being fertilized to when it's born. And then never mind that, the first couple years of life, so many changes. So you have to be comfortable with the uncomfortable nature of birth and rebirth and growth and development, which is always intrinsic to this card. It's so fascinating that they have these three people, one of them clearly being like a star being. I mentioned in my podcast with Matthias DeStefano that one of the things that I remembered before coming into this planet was it was like I was in this changing room, and I was trying on like different potential, like what I would look like, where I would live, different possibilities for this lifetime. I could see what the liminal space was before this incarnation. I felt safe. I couldn't see the entities that were there, angels, guides, whatever we want to call them, but I knew that I was with beings that were showing me what was possible. And so I chose things. We chose this. Even when you look in the mirror and you're like, why did I choose this? Why did I choose this parent, this partner, this place? It was all it's like a curriculum that you planned. And you don't do it alone, and you're not doing it alone. And so the spiritual energy of the sun and the star are always with us. The star is just, you're connected. But I love this because it's showing that we're constantly in a state of reinvention. So if you take nothing else away from this reading, you're not stuck. You can do whatever you want to do today, tomorrow, whatever. You chose to come here right now to hear this particular message. Now you can decide what to do next. You might be holding on to something that was. And every bit of this energy wants you to move in a different, like, to develop, to grow, to go. So if you're holding yourself back for safety or for fear's sake, now is the time to let that go. Okay? Beautiful energy. I love when the sun comes through. So the other thing that I'm getting from this is you're the source, because the baby is like the sun itself. If I pull it back enough, that's actually it. You have everything you need within. And we so often chase, like the wanderer, something else, someone else. So you complete yourself, not another person, not a job, not a certain number in your bank account, not a gold star or an award. It's a part of the journey, but for all the runners in the marathon today, for all the athletes in the Olympics, for everybody that's chased after a goal, they'll probably tell you that the moment on the podium was intense, but maybe even anticlimactic. It was the participation. It was the actual accomplishment of it. It's what you do next. It's the doors that it opens. The medal, the ceremony, the accomplishment, it's anticlimactic. So don't focus so much on that, the milestone. It's everything around the milestone that matters. Today is the most important day of your life because you're making decisions that affect tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the most important day because it will affect the next day. We're not going to live in the past or in a potential future because it may or may not happen. Who knows what tomorrow holds. So today is the most important day of your life, and you are not stuck. 2 major messages. First card, big stuff, okay? Some of you might also be in the process of creating something new. Maybe there's pregnancy, maybe there's something shifting and moving. On top of this card, we have the Magician, possibilities. Again, leaning into what's possible and focusing on what you need to put your energy into. So traditionally, you would see the altar with fire, earth, air, and water, swords, wands, cups, and pentacles. Not in the order that I said before, but I just had to think of all the symbols. Anyway, don't get distracted. Choose. Maybe I need this, but I don't need it all. It's like when you're cooking. You can always add ingredients, but if you add too many, it's not going to be something that you can eat. Salt is a great example. You put too much in, and it is not good. So a pinch is all you need, and maybe not even that. So pick and choose wisely. Back into the whole idea that you are the source. This is a card connected to healing, dreaming, and also magic. So believing that something amazing or miraculous can happen. I feel stuck, but I'm not. What if this happened? The power of what if. This is something that I've been using in manifestation. What if it gets easier? What if this happens faster than I think? What if the hard stuff is done? What if the good stuff is happening next? What if? Because then you're telling the universe, I'm open to it. That's all that is. Why not? How? Ask the questions that a journalist would ask. The 5 W's and the H? But like who, where, why, when, how. Like you got to go deeper than just can I do it? It's how am I going to do it? When am I going to do it? Who can make this happen? Why am I not doing it right now? Like go a little deeper into the questioning, and then you'll find the answer within. Don't burn the candle at both ends. Literally, we see that happening here. We also see this little snake wrapped around the person. So try not to get entangled in other people's drama and trauma. Use your energy for what matters most. Rein it in. Page of Swords in reverse. Hello, this sounds familiar. This just came through for today, I think. So all that I said in the daily, but I'm going to repeat it in case you haven't listened to it, but you should listen to it. This is a card of brevity and clarity. Like if I had to distill the entire daily, that's it. Brevity, clarity. Know what you want, do what you need to do, speak up when things don't make sense, listen more than you speak. All of these things will help you. Review, revise, and edit. Feels like you've done most of this already, but if you haven't, now's a great time to do it. Now, as a karmic marker in your past, what I'd like to focus on for the context of this reading is don't be overly critical on yourself. That's what this represents for you. I'm not X or Y enough to make this happen. Who says that? Why are you saying that? If you sometimes just identifying yourself on a call, oh, it's just me. No, it's me. Or, this may sound silly, but no, I have an idea. Just enter in and don't self-deprecate. And when you look at yourself, don't think coulda, woulda, shoulda. You did what you did, but now you can do something different. Today's the most important day. And your decisions today affect tomorrow. And you learned from yesterday. So you didn't fail, you're not failing, you're changing, you're moving, you're growing. We got to think in that kind of perspective to make the Page of Swords something magical. Okay? Recent past. Okay. So Ten of Cups is a wonderful card, but sometimes it can feel like a pressure sort of energy when it's reversed like it came through today. Friends, family, and loved ones. That's the main energy. That's the crux of the Ten of Cups. When it's reversed, it can feel like, I need to do this to please mom or dad. I need to do this to, make my friend happy. I need to do this to, compete with the Joneses, whatever. It's the people around you that you care about that matter most. Somebody scorned me for mentioning parents. Anybody can have parents at any stage in life, by the way. So when I use that as an example, you could be like a 50-year-old adult dealing with your parent, not just a kid. So think of it in a broad perspective. And also, parental figures or familial figures in your life. It can be your chosen family. But pressure to meet up to their expectations can sometimes feel claustrophobic. And also, more important than that, we're looking at unconditional love here. So if you reveal your true self, whatever it is you want to do, you're working in a job that you want, you're loving someone that you want, you're making changes in yourself, maybe exploring your spirituality, and you express that. You come out in that perspective to someone and they don't accept it. They're not rejecting you, they're just rejecting love. They're not ready for you, and you deserve more than that. And so you can hold space for them to grow and meet you where you're at, but you don't have to change to get a lesser love. It took many years on the planet for me to realize that. And it comes in multiple forms, including your family and the people you love the most. If they conditionally say, I can't accept you for who you are, then I don't know what I can do about that. You're going to have to work on yourself. I'm doing the best that I can. If that's not enough, then this isn't enough. Sorry. You don't have to change. Don't go changing to try to please them. It's like the Billy Joel song. They should love you just the way you are. Okay. You might be looking to create some space in your life for more love or for better or higher frequency friendships. Sometimes you have to let the old ones fall out. The old friends, the old family members, because they don't allow you to grow. And that's kind of what this whole reading is about. The Hummingbird wants us to be able to grow. Okay? Love yourself, love others, and realize in this moment in time that each of us is just doing the best we can. Sorry, I'm lotion on my hands because it's dry here in LA today. So I think that's really what it is. Love yourself and love others, and realize that, you shouldn't expect them to change. They shouldn't expect you to change. And I think that's going to save you a lot of time. And you complete yourself. If you're looking for someone else to validate, to fix you, then it's probably the wrong approach, okay? Once you've done the internal work, everything else gets better, okay? To that end here, we have the Queen of Cups energy coming through in the reverse position, in the crowning position. And she's saying, I'm going to let some of this go. Some of the pressure, some of the fears, some of the heavy feelings. And on this particular card, we have a conch shell with a hand coming out of the conch shell. And so for some of you, it's reprogramming the mental tape that your parent, well, no one uses. Actually, I was talking to a friend of mine that works in the music industry. He's like, cassette tapes are coming back. And I thought to myself, why? I can see vinyl, but why tapes? Anyone that lived through the tape era, and I did, they're not fun. They got warped. They would come out of the cassette player. Anyway, I do like the idea of tapes because particularly like a reel-to-reel from last century, because it represents this sort of cyclical stuff that just keeps playing, and they could go backwards and forwards. So what we want to do is reprogram that track in our head. Things that your teachers, parents, and family said. I mention those things even if you're 67 or 107, because those are the formative relationships. You still are affected by what your family said 100 years ago, but you don't have to be. So it's just realizing that was them, that was their fears, that was their thoughts, and look at how much time has passed from the point when I was a little babe to this moment in time. You're now kind of in the Queen of Cups era, which is I need to feel good where I'm at. And so you're reprogramming some of the thoughts, and you don't even realize that they crop up in your head until maybe someone else says, why are you saying that? That's not true. So sometimes we need other people to check our thought processes. Let me take a drink and we'll talk more about this. Queen of Cups in reverse is also about prioritizing mental health. And again, that sometimes means just saying no to certain people or certain things so that you can be healthier and happier. Once you do that, good things start to come through. It can also just be confidence, because she's like the penultimate card in this suit, and this suit is all about receptivity. So you're not yet ready to receive something because you need to love, accept, and really kind of drink in this moment, who you are. Then you can turn that cup in the upright position. We have 2 cards here. A lot of reversals today, but it's okay. It's helping us elevate. So the first of the 2 is the 7 of Wands, and it's saying work smarter, not harder. Something I'm trying to do right now, because if you work too hard and you burn yourself out, what good is that? And also one thing that I remember, like from Life Review and like the liminal spaces, you're never going to judge overtime or achievements. It's more the effect that you have on the world and how much you've learned. So don't work yourself to the point of exhaustion. That doesn't make you any better or worse than anyone else. It just makes you tired. So be kind to yourself. Say no more if you need to. Also, you don't owe everybody an explanation. So normally there's more of a defensive stance. The person's holding it back, but this person's just standing their ground, and it's kind of like take me or leave me. And we don't owe everyone an explanation, particularly for the examples that I cited earlier, like who you love, what you do for a living, where you live, what makes you happy. It's you. That's you. You do you. And when someone else is so fascinated and so critical about your life, it's a reflection of, first of all, their attachment to you, their judgment in general, maybe their jealousy. Because it's like, why are you so, to bring in a Mariah song, why are you so obsessed with me, right? So clearly there's some unhealthy habits there, so push back and create better boundaries. Say no. Don't feel like you have to articulate all the things that like exist in your life. It's kind of none of their business sometimes, right? We have the Knight of Wands also in the reverse position. I love this particular take on it. He's pausing, and this is what a reverse knight does. You pause and you look at where you've come, like how far you've come, what just transpired, and you say, did I do everything I set out to do? Is there anything that I would have done differently? Do I like the path that I'm on? And from those questions, then you can decide, do I want to keep going on the path? Is there something that I need to address? And am I happy? Once you do that, then we see the roots starting to take form here on this Knight of Wands. And I'm also looking at his robe, and you can see scarab beetles on the robe. Rebirth. We have the scarab, we have a snake, we have pomegranate and stuff. So anyway, the scarab represents birth and change, and also moving through the difficulties, because scarab beetles are like dung beetles. They move stuff that we don't want to see. That's why they're also a symbol of like karma and rebirth. So some of you might be cleaning through some of those lower energies and lower levels to get to the next phase. Keep an open mind. Knight of Wands can be stubborn. When you need to stand your ground, you can do it. And ultimately, if someone challenges you, I don't envy them, because these are 2 formidable cards. Seven of Wands, naturally a card of defense. Knight of Wands, wisdom and insight. And in the reverse position, that is someone who will stand their ground and fight and usually win, even though it's just a knight. Knights actually go out and fight. So that's your warrior card. So your inner warrior is coming through to stand up for yourself, okay? All right, let's take a look at how you're showing up. Some of you need to, this is one of the energies that we can elevate right now. So the Five of Wands represents conflict or wasted energy. Usually we see the five people in a circle pushing against one another. Here we see someone kind of saying, enough, showing you the hand, literally, and just how far the energy can go. Like, I'm going to take my power from the magician, where we also see the hand, and I'm going to channel. I'm not going to waste time competing. I'm not going to waste time fighting. I'm not going to waste time trying to get everybody to agree, because these are futile. They're not worth it anymore. So this is where you want to elevate, and it could just be saying, let's stop and let's try this instead. Ultimately, this is going to bring you into leadership, Six of Wands, but it starts with you. I mentioned, by the way, with the Five of Wands that you can do a lot of cool things like partner off and like Three of Wands, Two of Wands, or Four of Wands energy, or just go back to basics and focus on something that you want to do. There's too many cooks in the kitchen. There's not enough leadership, or you're fighting yourself. Sometimes we're fighting ourselves because this is the position of self. So you could be fighting against your own better instincts, but nothing is being gained here. Everybody's just making a lot of noise. So take a step back, take a deep breath, focus on what you need and want. That's what we just talked about with the previous two cards. And this isn't worth it anymore. It can be a job, it can be a relationship, it can be the tape that's playing in your head. There's a great song by Alanis Morissette. It's called Tapes. And she talks about all the voices, all the things, all the thoughts that hold her back. So that's another great song connected to that. So we're going to reprogram, we're going to erase the tape and start something new. Positivity. I can, I will, I am. Let's put that into the head instead. Okay. Many of you are ready to move on, move up, or move out because the environment may not be supportive for you. So, I have an elevated view of the tower. The tower can be good, but nonetheless seismic news that enters your life. For instance, getting pregnant or adopting a baby or adding to the family. It can also be a move, deciding to move from one place to another. A promotion, getting married, getting divorced. Whatever the positive changes in your life, it's without a shadow of doubt changing your life. And the change can be discombobulating. And usually we see two people, well, they're already here. So we see one person that fell and they've got their head in the sand. There's a lot of hands on this deck, I'm noticing. So we're going to focus on the hand here on this side. So I like to view a tower as something that you can potentially benefit from and get ahead. It's in the environment, so it's not you, it's around you. If it's your job, there's restructuring or a new boss, or it's getting sold, or there's layoffs, big changes. If it's your house, you need to renovate it or maybe fix something that you've been delaying. If it's your health, like me, something happens. You've got to deal with it. Something around you or affecting you has come through, and now is the time to focus on it. It wouldn't be so much health because it would have been in the ego position, but something big is going on and you need to deal with it. If you deny that it's happening, the tower crumbles and there's more rubble in your vicinity. But if you embrace it, you could actually reverse the tower and say, I'm going to take a little bit of this, this, and this, and I'm going to lean into the change. So pay attention. In recent months, I've kind of come to think of the tower in a feeling energy, like putting myself in the card. And I mentioned, and I'll keep mentioning it, that you get multiple warning signs when a tower is happening. A flash of lightning, an audible roll of thunder, and then the vibration in the ground. Think of a storm. And typically, we see the lightning strike there. So you would have 3 different warning signs. I see it, I hear it, I feel it. In a job, you would see something, probably hear it at the water cooler, probably feel it in your bones. In a relationship, you'd see some signs. You'd hear someone saying something, you'd feel it in your gut. I want you to lean into the tower frequency, because then you don't have to be a part of this. You can stop it at seeing it. You can stop it at hearing it. And by the time you feel it, you better do something. So it's basically the wake-up call to trust all of your senses. And then, of course, it's this seeing, too. Like, I see beyond what you're saying. It doesn't gel. Something doesn't feel right. Okay? All of these will be good. I have stepped into friendships, job situations, living situations where there was a part of me that thought, is this right for me? Something doesn't gel. And then it invariably wasn't right for me. So I want you to pay attention at the very first flash of lightning, because the storm hasn't even come yet. And you can absolutely make changes in your life. But a necessary change is on the horizon. Embrace it. All right, as we take a look at what's coming through in possibilities, hopes, fears, and possibilities, we have Three of Cups. There is something to celebrate. So this could be something good, something that happens faster than you think, that redefines who you are, like winning the lotto or something, or, again, meeting the love of your life, or getting some really good news. So when that happens, just know that you worked hard for that. New love could be coming into your life, new opportunities. This also reminds you to take a moment and celebrate just life's little victories, life's little blessings. Because like I said, today is given, tomorrow not so much. So we need to make sure that every day we treat as the beautiful diamond that it is. We can't always worry about what tomorrow brings. There's not necessarily an air of permanency with the Three of Cups. It's an energy of tasting, testing, trying. So just give something a chance right now, okay? Now we have the Hanged Man coming through in the outcome, and you're exactly where you need to be right now. So the elevated version of this would say, let's just hang out here and view it from a different perspective. This card is focusing just on the stuck energy, and I already said you're not stuck. So the traditional Hanged Man represents a moment where you're not being asked, you're on some levels spiritually being forced to look at it from another angle. So it could be a delay, a block, a setback, someone saying no, and that means I have to sit here for a second longer, or more than a second, and evaluate. Did I see everything? Did I do everything that I could have? Is there something that maybe still is within reach? This isn't a card solely of like delays and punishment and all of that. It also is a card of enlightenment. And we're elevating the cards today because of the Hummingbird. So the enlightened version of this is, oh, okay, I'm going to do this instead. Okay, this is actually better. I thought that was it, but this is what I was supposed to do. So this is very much glass half full, the best is yet to come, and I needed the rejection, the delay, or the heartbreak so that I was aligned to this path, because that wasn't going to get me where I needed to be. Sometimes you need a no to get to your dream, to get to the yes, to get to the potential. And the Hanged Man is encouraging you to look a little bit closer. Here, and wherever you haven't already. It's insight. Yes, it's a delay, but in the mythology of the card, this is Odin purposely tying his foot to the tree of life, hanging himself by the foot, tree of knowledge rather, so that he could learn something magical, the secret of the runes. And it took him time, and it wasn't fun, and it wasn't easy. So delays and sacrifices sometimes bring us something really, really worthwhile. That's your glass half full of the Hanged Man. The reality of it is there might be a delay, there may be a rejection, and you may feel stuck, but you're not. You just need to look beyond where you're at. Remember the Three of Wands that I showed, the two different versions. Always allowing yourself to look in multiple directions and dimensions, okay? Let's expand this and see what else the Hummingbird wants to reveal here. So we have health, wealth, love, and destiny. We'll begin first with the energy of health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. For health, I feel like we keep getting this particular card, the stork. The stork I would connect to the baby as well, but let's just talk about it here. So when I'm looking at this, I'm really looking at the beak on this this week because I feel like I just read it a week or two ago. But really pay attention to what is being said, the power of your voice. So for some of you, the throat chakra, because I'm looking at health. So this could be throat, tonsils, thyroid, upper spine, everything that we have in our neck. There's so many organs. I'm sure I've missed a few, but like all of that. Really focus on using your voice and all that's going on in the neck, in the throat, in that area, general vicinity. I would say even your mouth. Also paying attention to what you're putting into your body. And it's not just the food, it's the environment. So like when we think of digesting things, so often it's just like, yeah, what I ate. But it's also the words that people say. It's the energy around you, like if there's construction or people arguing or whatever, that actually you're digesting. It's the negativity that you might be hearing on the television or reading in the paper or reading online. All of those things get into you, into your body. They have multiple ways of manifesting. High blood pressure. It can also be stress and anxiety, sadness or depression. So we need to focus on what we're ingesting and digesting and keep it in balance. And it's not just food. It's all of the aforementioned. Once you do that, you'll be able to basically see things clearer and move things in a new direction and get into that energy of birthing and creating. Quickly looking at general health messages. Mental health, really important with the Queen of Cups in the reverse position. Ask for help, talk to people, let it out. Sometimes we have to let it out. I mentioned all the things that could be distracting you. So I've lived, for those of you that are OG watchers, I've been doing this since 2015. It's a long time. But like around 2021, 2022, I lived in a place where there was constant construction to the point that I had to do my readings at like 5 a.m. when I was doing them live. It just wasn't conducive to happiness. Plus, like the whole place was crashing around me and I was like, I'm living in the tower. Sometimes we have to move away from situations like that because it can literally be construction. It can be a toxic workplace. It can be an unsafe environment. Maybe there's toxic fumes or chemicals, or it can be a relationship. Something is unstable. Something needs to be shifted out. It can be habits in your life too. So this is a time to address that, to pay attention to the flash, to the smoke, to the sound, to the feel that you get from the tower so that you don't actually have to go through the tower. Okay? Okay. So because they focus so much on the foot and the ankle here, the Hanged Man absolutely is connected to that, just like Five of Pentacles. Make sure that you're moving your legs enough. Make sure that you're stretching before you exercise. If you have any edema or any joint issues, obviously you want to go to a doctor or a podiatrist. But this is a time to love your foot a little bit. And we don't always take care of that. And that is, when we think about it, the feet are the most important parts of our body because they hold all of us up. Like they really do carry the brunt of that. The feet and the legs and the knees, they're not as loved as the other parts. We pay so much attention to the face, to the hands, to all of this that you see like from here up. Even when we're filming like from this up. But everything else really matters. So make sure that you're taking care of yourself and that if there are any issues with circulation or joints, that you're working with the appropriate doctors to get that checked out. Get your physical. The minute I got the notification on the watch, I went to urgent care. I was so glad I did. Then I saw 2 doctors. And now I have multiple appointments on the calendar. Like I'm overly looking at everything. But that annual physical can catch so much. Oddly enough, some of the stuff that was going on in my ears, thank God we have Google nowadays, but that was also blood pressure because it can cause congestion and ringing and stuff like that. So go to your regular doctor, but tell them all of the symptoms and go through your family history when you do that, because it may be something that you wouldn't see otherwise. So this to me is also saying the enlightenment piece is stop for a second and make sure that you're exploring it from all angles. If you work out, if you're doing strength training and things like that, this can represent a strained muscle or even we don't want a broken bone, but pushing yourself too much can cause the body to inflame. This is inflammation as well. So don't. Pace yourself. As I started to work out, I got like a little tiny walking pad, not kind of like a treadmill, but I had to ease myself into an hour. I didn't do it immediately. So and I'm starting to get like a little home gym that I'm putting together. So basically start on little levels and you'll work yourself up to a more fit and more healthy version of yourself. If you do it overnight, your body's going to say, whoa, we were over here, now we're over here. And then inflammation, strains, things of that nature can happen, and you don't want that. Also, speaking of joints, this could be early signs of arthritis, or maybe for some of you, carpal tunnel for repetitive injuries. Even if you're a gamer or something like that, make sure you're stretching. Go to a professional. It can sometimes be chiropractors can help with that too. But obviously, I'm not a doctor, so get a second and third opinion. But we're getting like the foot and the hand coming through. Last thing, when it comes to drinking, less is more. Caffeine intake, alcohol intake, whatever you might be putting into your body, moderation is key. Okay, let's move on to wealth, your resources, life purpose, and career. Okay. I mean, I like that we have the hero. So some of you might be looking at ways to change the world for the better. Activism, volunteer work, nonprofits, all comprised within this. Also maybe like teaching, medical work, legal work. Like everybody can be a hero in their field, but trying to do something altruistically for the greater good sounds good. But you can't be everybody's hero all the time. And if you're constantly trying to do the hero thing, you will get burned out. And when you look at most superheroes, they have some issues, don't they? Like all the Marvel superheroes and DC superheroes, they have alternate identities because they can't be themselves because they're afraid to be authentic. That's a challenge, right? So we want to lean into authenticity. And also sometimes if they're vigilante, if they're like, they stretch themselves too thin. So the superheroes aren't happy. Pick your moments to be heroic, but you also have to be human. And we want to also lean into authenticity. Maybe the only thing that I like with the whole idea of separating work and personal life is boundaries. I could take that from the superhero trope and say it's okay, but the rest of it seems complicated. So let everybody do what they need to do. You can empower them to be their own hero. Let's put it that way, right? All right, general notes on wealth, because I'm going to do another topic at the end, so I'm not going to drill into all 5. So this benefits everybody when they're looking at their general self-worth and net worth. So when we're looking at general self-worth, don't define yourself by what other people think. Don't overextend yourself. If you burn the candle at both ends, there will be repercussions, probably getting sick, but we don't want to push things to that degree, so don't. Some of you need to get into a healthier work, either habit or environment. So whether it's just the way you're working yourself or where you're working, that can shift right now. There's a lot of competition. So whether you're trying to move up or find a job, the way that you're going to stand out is, like I said, none of this sort of superhero stuff, just authentically being yourself and not trying to compartmentalize and all of that. That's key. Really work at not wasting your time and energy in the conflict and the competition. Whether you're trying to progress or try to find a job, the thing that makes you powerful is, where's your sort of green thumb? I won't say Midas touch because that's actually a curse, but what is it that you can do that really brings growth and value and sets you apart from other people? We focus so much on trying to be a clone of everything else out there. Do something that sets you apart. And let me see if there's anything else. Lean into things that allow you to be more creative. Say no to unnecessary workload. Celebrate life's little victories and don't worry so much about the milestones. And these are the main takeaways and breakaways here. I need to get a throat lozenge and then we're going to move on to love and relationships, but I'll leave the cards here for that. We have Santa Ana winds in Los Angeles, which basically just named after a part of LA, but they're warm. So we're getting temperatures in Fahrenheit that are in the 80s this week, which is, I mean, we're entering into spring, but that's a little hot too soon. But it blows in a lot of dust, and I can't do allergy meds anymore. So that's what this is. in case you're wondering. Okay, let's move on to love and relationships. Okay, in love and relationships, here's what we've got. Serapis Bay paradigm shift, activation to grow, make the necessary change. Make it within. I mentioned metamorphosis and chrysalis at the very beginning. There's inner change going on that may even be affected by some of the outer change as well, right? Slowly allow this to take root, and don't let someone force you or rush you through the necessary change. The paradigm shift is important. The person that you love or that you're with, or we're going to break this down, but there could be some really significant life changes going on. For some of you, you might be going through a milestone birthday. Like I said, there could be a birth happening, a new job, a move, something big. The tower is big, but this isn't necessarily a bad tower. It's just a big shift. And notice the throat coming through one more time. Talk about it. Communication is key. I will break this one down because we only have 3 subdivisions here. So for those of you currently in a relationship, here's what I see. The sun at the center is actually pretty good, but it represents chemistry, but it can be self-centered. So this change might require one of you to focus more on self-care, but the partner is going to be wanting or needing reciprocity. So you're going to have to figure out how to navigate a change and get the support that you need. And if it's your partner, the same thing. Like, how can you balance out the relationship? There may be things that require help. Maybe you need assistance for certain things around the house, or you need to talk to someone. Bringing in a third party somehow to help this out could be advantageous. This is like mutual attraction. This is love. On a lot of decks, you'll actually see lovers in the foreground on the sun card. So I see love and I see chemistry, but I also see one person that is caring more about themselves. It's not necessarily bad because it could be they're going to school, dealing with a loss, dealing with a change, but how can we balance it out so that both parties are getting the support that they need? Listen more than you talk. Make sure you're being heard if you're talking and the other person ever wants to hear you. Open communication and mutual communication, the same degree of communication matters. This is your life, not your parents' life, not your community's life, not your church's life. So this is trying to fit into someone else's mold. You broke the mold. You're doing your own thing. If you just moved in with someone, or if you just got married, it takes time to create the necessary boundaries and to have the sort of give and take that's involved with feeling good in a new place and in a new relationship, so give it time. Ultimately, it looks good. The only challenge are these 2 cards, Queen of Cups and 3 of Cups. There could be an ex in the picture. There may be someone that shares custody with the child, like it could be that kind of thing, or it could be a parent. Whoever the external party is, they're causing a little bit of drama. So for some of you, and it's important to have good boundaries. It could also just be people weighing in and saying things that get under your skin. The most important relationship besides the one you have with yourself is the one that you have with your partner. So you guys focus on you and tune out the drama. If you're single and looking, you could find someone. The tower, interestingly enough, can be falling head over heels. Because literally, I mean, you can see it here. This person fell head over heels, but now they've got their head in the sand. A couple of things that we can take away with that is someone around you may be a better judge of what's going on than you. Even though I said before, they may know someone or see something that's gone on, particularly if it comes to someone that could be dating someone else or isn't ready for commitment. So there could be something around, are they ready to commit? Are they still attached to someone? Get to know them. I'm glad that there's a connection, but don't jump head first into something and don't put your head in the sand. And maybe listen to a constructive note from someone saying, hey, I actually used to date this person or whatever. There could be some external feedback that could be advantageous. So aside from that, there's a couple of options coming in. The Knight of Wands comes on too strong. So there's a fire sign that is really bold, but maybe too bold, and that's off-putting. There's a Queen of Cups energy that comes in, but she needs a little bit more than you might be ready to do right now or to give. Ultimately, the Hanged Man is actually saying, just take it slow. There'll be options, maybe even more than the ones that we talked about here because of the Three of Cups, but all of them require pause and getting to know them as well. Okay? You can create whatever you want right now. Yes, you can pull someone in, but there were some cautionary notes, and I'll always say them if I see them. Single and happy, good for you. So less complicated. You may be deciding to make a major move in your life. I see the hard work. Pace yourself. Focus on knowing yourself. Don't, what's the word I want to say here? Deviate from your vision and your version of what it is that you're trying to do. Your goal and your dream, like, it's your baby. Whatever it is you're trying to do, this is you. Trust in that. Don't let someone push you in a path that doesn't feel authentic. Let's take a look at destiny. I feel like we've been talking about this on multiple levels today, but lo and behold, we have balance coming through. Create the necessary balance in your life, yin and yang, give and take. Also know that you can fight for yourself. So were this like justice, I would say it's not only okay, but sometimes paramount and vital to say no, to put a line in the sand. I don't feel that way. I don't want this. That's what this card is willing to do. Also making sure that you're doing enough for yourself. All of this is a part of that, okay? Now let's pull just one card because I want to. So this is like a reader's choice to get into the energy of the hummingbird. So what's the one thing you can do in this moment in time to elevate? Okay. So we have the Two of Wands, which we've talked a lot about today, actually. So a couple of things in this illustration. I love that this person is standing on the knowledge and the energy of the ancestors, so that this is kind of like a statue, and he's tapping into that knowledge. Ask people who have done things similar to what you're trying to do, how they did it, how they coped, you know, what their advice is, and just be receptive to it, but hold firm to your own vision. You're making an informed leap here. This is also saying, I matter, my dreams are valid, I can do this. We have another scarab beetle on this guy as well. This reminds me a lot of the original Clash of the Titans, where there's a statue, was it Pallas Athena? I can't remember who, but she started talking. It reminds me of that scene in the one with Harry Hamlin in it. Anyway, thinking of knowledge, thinking of Pallas Athena, whether or not it was her. This is also your higher self coming through. So in the past, when we talked about those moments where you thought, oh, I really shouldn't have done this, but you did it, this time you're not going to make that mistake. You're going to tune into your wisdom. You're going to make a plan and stick to it. And you know that really the best is yet to come. The Two of Wands is about possibilities. In this deck, that the globe is just a little bit beyond reach. I think that having goals and continuing to reset them is part of what makes life fun. Like, okay, I accomplished this, but I still want to do that. And having a stretch goal is good. So just because you're not there yet doesn't mean that you won't get there. And just because you have to stretch a little bit doesn't mean that that's a bad thing necessarily. Okay. We didn't make the goal, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move into the bonus category, and if you find value in it, go ahead and give a contribution. Because I'll leave it that way to you. So the second one here is people, places, and things. I've tried a couple of times to see if this could win, but it hasn't. So we're going to now just read it as a secondary one. And even though we didn't hit the 30 super goal, if you like it and you like what I'm doing, feel free to give back a little extra. All right, I'm going to reset this while I'm doing it. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. It allows you to chat. It helps me know that these videos are making a difference, and I just appreciate it. So thank you. You can also give back and show that you appreciate what you're seeing here with the super sticker. If you want to help us hit the target, you can hit the target button. In the meantime, I'm just selecting a deck while I'm doing all of this. Okay. So let's see what you're not seeing, the mask. What are you missing? And why are you missing it? Okay. So we have Ace of Cups in a reverse position. What you're missing in this moment is, oh my goodness. Okay, so the hummingbird came through in the bonus topic. Woo. Okay, that's fun. You deserve to be happy, because when I think of the Ace of Cups, I really think of joy, passion, fun, love with a capital L, unconditional love. If you are trying to chase it externally, as we've talked about, it feels like ad nauseum today, it is never going to be enough. You have to be enough for yourself. You are enough. And you have to do things in your life and that make you happy. Slowing down to drink it in. So I love hummingbirds. I no longer I haven't had a patio for a while, but when I had the patio, I would plant a lot of flowers that had naturally red and yellow and beautiful blossoms that would attract hummingbirds, because they're one of my favorite animals on the planet. And I love how quickly they move, but they will take time, and if they trust you, they'll perch and they'll sip, and they take a moment to drink it in. So right now what you're missing is drinking it in, being present. And if we lack that energy of presence, then we don't see that we're already kind of manifesting things. And so one of the masks in front of us right now is the illusion that it's not happening, when in fact it actually is happening. So I love that our special topic came through on the tide topic that I'm still reading, which is, if you slowed down, if you celebrated, if you realized that all that you seek is already within, then you'd be in a much better place. So that's message number one. It's not always easy to sort of like take the time to slow down, but that's very much what Spirit is encouraging you to do in this moment in time. Okay? All right. So that was the first thing that I wanted to look at. Let me go back to the topic and see it from the different, let's see. So we were looking at people, places, and things. I'm going to write it down. Like, I can remember that. All right. So people, places, and things. People, places, and things. All right. Let's start off with the people. So seeing people for what they truly are. Okay, so on this one, we have the Six of Wands in reverse. This could be for some of you, and when we're looking at Six of Wands, I would look at coworkers, friends and peers, but the ones that are very much, it's like competition and appearances. So if people are only fair weather friends, or are very competitive and like judge you if you don't accomplish what you want, they're fair weather friends. And it's time to step back and again, give them time to do some work and meet you where you're at, which is hopefully not focusing so much on that. There is no failure. So if there's someone that's holding you up and saying like, oh, if you'd only done this, you would be a success, and it could be from anyone, they're focused on what they want, not what you want. And it seems like they're judging your accomplishment. It's kind of like they want to benefit from where you're at. So there's someone around you that's focused more on the optics or the external view of you and the relationship than rather who you are. So if you know someone like this, or if you stumble upon someone like this, then they're only in it for appearances. Because the Six of Wands is very public facing, and it's very much like it's about external thoughts and thoughts of success. So you're enough, and if it's not enough for them, you can do better. We have the Clouds card here, which shows someone that's not really coming through as they truly are. Again, it could be someone trying to ride your coattails, or someone that wants you to live a version of your life that isn't authentic to you. Someone that's just coming through a little bit cloudy, a little bit hazy, and it's like, So really make sure that people around you love you. I was thinking of like the old marriage vows the other day, like better or for worse, for richer or for poorer. Like that's more what we should be looking for in friendships. And we shouldn't say till death do us part, but just say, I'm looking for someone who I love as they are. That's the unconditional peace, knowing that it's enough. And if it's not enough, then it's okay. But I see that you really want to get to know someone a little bit better if they're showing these tendencies to only show up when things are easy. And when it gets rough, you can't find them. Okay? So that was one of the masks that came through. And again, Six of Wands would often come through at school, at a place of work, in a place where the public is seeing you. Places. Queen of Cups and the Path. If you love where you are, if you love what you're doing, it's easy. Queen of Cups is a card of joy, and the Path card is showing that you can create this. So if you're not happy, create a pathway to that happiness. And that could be anything that you imagine, like getting a new job, moving to a different state, country, or province, doing your own business, whatever it is that makes you feel that sense of, this is me. So authenticity is a big theme today that keeps coming through. For the places thing here, it's kind of interesting that we have Queen of Cups. Kindness, empathy, and support. Remember back in the beginning when we had that beautiful hearth fire, Eight of Wands? That's kind of what I'm seeking with the Queen of Cups. Somewhere or some place where you feel that sense of love. Maybe you're going to create it if you don't see it. For those of you that are students, it could be creating a club or an activity for like-minded people. Same thing exists for everyday people. Maybe there's something that you can do in the community for people that have the same goals, challenges, or dreams. She's creating something that hasn't already existed. So I like that. People, places, and things. Okay. Interesting. Really, really appropriate. So the card was reversed, but let's talk about the oracle first. Shed the tears, but also just like shedding things. There could be something that you're holding on to that doesn't make you happy anymore. It could be a physical object. It could be a habit, because things can be multiple things. But whatever the thing was, it isn't bringing joy anymore. And we had the Knight of Cups, but it was reversed. One of the blessings in disguise when I had to leave my previous home that had mold damage and destroyed all of my belongings was it was a complete energetic reset. Like, I started from scratch. It was expensive. It was stressful. It had negative effects on my health. Probably a lot of the things that are going on are like affected by that. But one of the benefits was decades of stuff I had to get rid of overnight. And for anyone that's lived through a flood, a fire, an earthquake, or complete loss, like a theft of things, you realize after that happens, it hurts in the moment, but it's like, but I'm still standing. It didn't define me, and I'm not weighed down. Now, as I buy things, I think to myself, how long will I need it? There will come a day where I leave the planet, so someday I won't need it, but I might move out, I might move up, I might move in. There might be some reason like I don't need this anymore. So you don't need as much. The big energy around things is shedding. And when you shed the things, you shed the tears. You also get rid of them too. So a cleaning and a cleansing. Something hurts to release because that's kind of the energy of these two cards. But in the long run, It could be a blessing in disguise, right? So those are the main energies there. All right. Thank you so much for letting me look at these. Some other time I might try it as a reader's choice, but I'm like, third time's a charm. If it keeps tying or doesn't quite make it, we'll just do it as this kind of a read. And even though we're very close, I think we'll maybe make it by the end. I wanted to address that since it was almost a virtual tie. And this is a reason why it's good to become a member. You can break the tie and shift the focus. I always pick 4 topics that I don't mind reading, so I'm never upset at what you choose. And I want it to be a place where you feel like, I really want to see this. So the fact that love never gets chosen tells me you really don't want to see that here. But you always get a voice and you always get a choice. And when you become a member or Patreon supporter, you can break the tie like you did today. And sometimes I do extra things. Right now I'm just trying to get caught up, but sometimes I do extra things for the members. Also, it just helps because truth be told, YouTube doesn't kind of give enough anymore which is part of the reason I'm also opening up to different ways of connecting with all of you. So if you like what you see, giving back is so important. So thank you. Okay, let's go ahead now and meditate. And then we're going to move on to final question. All right, close your eyes for a moment. Take a nice deep breath. Let it go. And I'd like you to imagine the sun rising, that you got up super early and you can actually see a little pinpoint of light on the horizon as the sun starts to rise. In this moment in time, feel the connection as the initial ray of light traces its way across the horizon to your heart, lighting up your energy, clearing out any fears, any trauma, any drama that might exist. And you just take this nice, deep, cleansing breath. If there's anything in your throat, in your heart, in your lungs, imagine that you could just send it to the sun, a big puff of smoke, and then all that's left is this light, bright energy. Because the hummingbird was a part of today's reading, imagine, if you will, that you can see a hummingbird waking up because they do go into a slight hibernation overnight. You see it spreading its wings a little bit, and as one of the flowers opens up, right in front of you, the hummingbird takes a moment to sip that nectar. And from this message, we can also take a moment to be grateful for at least one thing. Think about something in your life that brings you a sense of joy and gratitude. Extend your heart towards that. Breathe in. Let go of anything heavy again and just feel the love and light of the sun and the love and light of that thing that brings you gratitude. Okay. On the next natural exhale, I'd like you to think of one last question that you have. Anything that you still need some guidance or support on. All right. We have the Lover's card coming through. It's in the reverse position. Couple of things here. As a yes or no, this would be not yet. Yes, but here's the work. This is, again, about unconditional love. Try though we may and wish though we may, the Lover's card in reverse is not so much about finding love, support, or acceptance in someone else as it is finding it from within. So self-confidence, acceptance, and just really being okay with who you are and where you're at. It just keeps coming through time and again. So please lean into that self-love. If someone comes into your life and you're not sure if you deserve it, the self-confidence piece is what this can also represent. The Lovers is also highly magnetic. Anything that you want, you have this charisma around you right now that can help you bring it into your life. So don't underestimate your power in this moment in time. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of this reading. So again, if you like this, consider hitting the like button, subscribing, and leaving a comment when this goes on replay. Thank you for, at the very end of this reading, helping us make the goal. I appreciate that. It really does help more than you imagine. You can also show support through memberships and stickers, which we just saw here. You can give back with PayPal. If you want to continue the conversation, I offer private readings. They're on my website. You can go there or on the main channel page for those. And all of the official links, including all of my social media platforms, you can go to my website to find where to click for that. Okay? And that, my friends, is everything for today. Thank you for being amazing, for showing up today. And hopefully, I have a friend in the UK, they said it's the end of March that British savings time comes through. And I don't know, I know some of Canada is observing it, some of it isn't, but it feels like we're all just jointed and every part of the world is doing it at different times. Hopefully in the next decade or so, we all stop this. It's silly. But whenever you find me, it's good to see you. I'm always here on replay if you missed the live reading. Okay, let's take a couple of moments to just appreciate those who gave back a little bit more. So give me a second here, and I'm going to do just that. Okay. So let's go to all the fan funding. Okay, beginning with Watergirl 1805. Thank you for joining again, because I see you've got the crown there, so you've been a member for a long time and you rejoined. I appreciate it. Celebrating an anniversary today is Ann Walk. Good to see you, Anne. And it's 28 months, just over 2 years. Thank you so much. Hope you're feeling the love too. Thank you so much, Tak. Marianne, I appreciate you. Thank you for your contribution. Let's see. Colette celebrating 29 months. A lot of people, well over 2 years. I appreciate that. Thank you. Sending love and light to you as well. B. Deidre Brown, good to see you. Thank you for being a member and for your sticker. XOX Goths, thank you so much for your sticker. Colette, good to see you again. Thanks for being a member and for your sticker. Thanks again, Anne, for another sticker as well as the membership. Rafaela, thank you for 30 months. A lot of people 30 plus today. Appreciate it. Let's see. Esmeralda, thank you very much for your sticker. Colette, thank you again. I appreciate it. Amy, thank you very much for your sticker. Colette, thank you again for helping us meet the goal. I appreciate the multiple stickers. Same thing with Anne. Thank you. Welcome back to, let's see, Starlit Hermit, I think it is. Cool name since it has the star in its lantern. I like that. Amitabha, thank you for 22 months, almost 2 years. Thank you. I know you've been here a lot longer, but thanks for the membership and for the kind note and the unicorn. KNX420, good to see you again, my friend. Thank you for your sticker and thanks for the membership. Again, Amitabha, thank you for multiple contributions. Same to Ann Walk. I appreciate all of that. Also, thank you to Melanie Morris. KNX, thanks again. Sam Murphy, thank you for the sticker and for being a member. Ishel, I think it is, or Excel. Thank you so much for your sticker. I appreciate it. Melly of the Spring, thank you for being a member and for the sticker. Sam Murphy, thanks again. And let's see, MP Leisman, I think it is. Thank you for the sticker and for being a longtime member. I appreciate that. Sam Murphy, thank you again. I appreciate the multiple votes of confidence from Sam and Ann. I appreciate that. Georgia, thank you for your sticker and for your membership. Yolanda, good to see you again. Thank you for your sticker. Georgia, thanks again for multiple contributions and for the membership. Carla Owen, thank you for the sticker and membership. Colleen, good to see you. Thank you for your membership and for the sticker. Not Noten Blythe. I don't know how to say that, but thank you so much for the virtual sticker there and cup of coffee. Let's see. Catherine, thank you so much. I'm glad you like the weeklies, and it helps you start the week off correctly. Thanks for your sticker. Georgia, thanks for the sticker and membership. Lenny, thank you so much for your sticker. Oh, wow, we have a 43-month anniversary here with Jill Sheets. Thank you so much, and thank you for a long time being a member. That means a lot. MP Listman, again, thank you so much for the sticker and membership. Lydia, good to see you. Thank you for being a top contributor and for your kind sticker. Created by Deanne, thank you for the sticker. I appreciate it. Sarah Donaldson, thanks for the sticker and membership. Morgan, thank you for your sticker and for the membership. Donna D. Can't see the rest of your name, but Donna D, thank you for your sticker and for being a member. Miss Cindy B, thank you for your sticker and membership. Deborah Bobella, thank you for your sticker and membership. And it's your 10th, it looks like, too, on a live stream. So thanks for Lucky 10. Georgia, thank you again for multiple stickers and for the membership. We are celebrating 30 months here with Georgia as well. Congrats. Thank you for your consistency here and showing up. I appreciate you. Patricia, thank you for the sticker. It's your first sticker on a live stream, so thank you for choosing to do it here at Taxamica. Nicole, thank you very much for your sticker. I appreciate you. Celebrating 18 months of membership is Teresa. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, and I'm glad that... Oh, well, thank you. Those are just healing vibes. I appreciate it, and I receive those with love and light. All right, Christina, thank you for your sticker. Thanks to Rafaela for multiple stickers and, of course, for the membership. Thanks again to Blue for multiple stickers and for the membership, and Created by Deanne for helping me get to the 30th there. Thank you so much. You got me to the goal for today. All right, folks. Okay, we got one more there from Blue. Thanks for the bonus, Blue. All right, everybody. That does bring us to a close for today. Like I said, I've been meaning to be more concise with the monthlies because I miss when we could just do them as live streams, honestly. But YouTube doesn't prioritize live streams in the same way that it does uploads, so I have to do them as uploads. But I look forward to trying a different format, getting them in a little bit tighter format so that those of you that are busy, because I've seen people complaining, this is too long. So you'll get what you wish for here, and they'll be a little more concise. And we'll probably lean more on the weeklies for this super extended portion. And at some point, I may just rearrange it a bit. So this gives me a chance to innovate and try new things. So thank you for your patience. I'm feeling much better. Take care of yourselves. Wishing you all health and happiness. I'm going to pull Apollo up if I can get him to sit up since the camera wasn't working. Hey, buddy. Come here. Oh, good boy. Yes. He's like, Dad, I was sleeping so soundly. He's going to get groomed this week so you can see he's super fluffy. Anyway, thank you so much, everybody, for a fantastic reading. Thank you to Coda for your help. And again, had a little Mercury retrograde thing happening this morning, so thanks to Coda for that. And everybody else, I'll see you for the weeklies every single day as well. And wishing you the best in the week ahead. Take care of yourselves and be kind to others as well. Bye-bye.